When you're given the opportunity to talk about someone who is near and dear to you, you can only hope that you choose the right words to adequately describe and personify that person. 20 years ago, our church community was not filled with happy, smiling faces because we were shocked with disbelief that our beloved friend, mentor, and pastor, Msgr. Albert Snacky, who was our pastor for 16 years, had left us to join his multitude of friends in God's heaven. It was a devastating loss and left a void in our lives that we knew could never be filled. Many of you who did not have the privilege to know and appreciate him have asked, who was this man whom everyone still talks about with such love, affection, and admiration? Who was Msgr. Snacky? He was the most Christian man I have ever known in my life. You did not get to like him. You immediately liked him the minute you met him. He was a true gentleman, and you can make that one word or two, it makes no difference. He accepted you at face value, and he loved you because of it. He was friendly, always smiling and caring, interested in you and your family, with a warmth that was infectious. He made you feel like a better person simply by talking with you. And I cannot begin to tell you the effect that this man had on our lives. He was holy, but he wasn't holier than thou, because he always had a wee bit of mischief in his eyes. That was Msgr. Snacky. Our present-day chapel was then our main church with a center aisle and wooden pews on each side and a balcony. And before Mass, Msgr. would greet everyone in front, and if it was the first time you attended, he would introduce himself, welcome you, and ask you your name. When you came back the second time, he would call you by name, as well as each member of your family. He loved people. That was Msgr. Snacky. Much like Father Jim, he would follow the altar servers and lectors up the aisle, only he had his faithful German Shepherd dog Heidi trailing behind him. It was a short walk, but it would take a few minutes because all the kids sitting along the aisle would feed the dog Fruit Loops, Cheerios, and animal crackers that their parents gave them to keep them quiet and occupied during Mass. What a warm and welcome feeling we had. It was like visiting family. When Msgr. gave his homily from the pulpit, Heidi would sit or lay real close by, and sometimes sit there and look at Msgr., or sometimes lay down, sleep, and snore. She could snore so loudly that the microphone would pick up the noise and the whole congregation would hear it. Msgr. would look at the dog, smile, and say, maybe my homily isn't so good today, because she did the same thing last night when I was practicing at the rectory. We would laugh and continue to listen. Being able to laugh in church, in those days it was unheard of. But that was Msgr. Snacky. He had vision and forethought. Our lower parking lot, that is now paved, used to be all gravel and stone with a four-sided open pavilion. Msgr. nicknamed it the Pavilion. And during the summer it was used for Saturday and Sunday Mass. And when Clayton Gilbert, our resident organist, used to hit the first loud note, every bird that was nestled and nested in that pavilion would take off, and the kids used to love it. Msgr. had a great sense of timing, because whenever a visiting priest celebrated Mass, Msgr. would show up to help distribute communion right on schedule by coming down the hill from the rectory to the pavilion on his yellow bicycle and in his red sweater, and he would be there just in time. Now you got to remember, he was no kid, and we would all pray that the brakes would hold on his bicycle when he got down there. What a wonderful place to talk with God, outdoors. Father Snacky and Mother Nature. What a wonderful combination. The land next to the pavilion was owned by the parish and it was all open space. That was transformed into the Little League fields of today. So the next time you take your kids or grandkids to play ball, you know who you can thank. Thank Msgr Schnacky. What a great and practical mind he had. As the congregation grew, it was decided to build a community center, a multi-use facility that could be used for masses on the larger crowded masses like Christmas and Easter, used for CTD classes, meetings, and parties. And Msgr made sure it had a fully stocked kitchen that was often used, but it was really put to the test on St. Patrick's Day when we had the best St. Patrick's Day party imaginable. And the corned beef and cabbage was always tested by Chef Albert. Msgr thought bingo would be a great way to bring people together, get to know each other better, and have fun. So after a few months of researching and visiting other bingo halls, it was bingo every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at St. Catherine's. When asked what would happen if we lost money a few times due to lack of attendance, Msgr would say, "We're not doing it for money. We're doing it to bring people together and join in the community." That was Msgr Schnacky. When Kathy and Travis Piper joined the parish, they invited Msgr to dinner, and they mentioned their involvement in the amateur theater. The next week's bulletin informed one and all that there would be melodramas at St. Catherine's, and all Msgr wanted was a small part. So he was our annual sheriff who would come in at the third act and save the day to more applause than anybody else got all night long. The star over our stage represents Msgr. 25 years later, the community plays are still going strong with sold-out performances every year, totaling more than 1,300 people each year, and 100 people participating in the production. Once again, bringing people together for fun, enjoyment, and laughter. That was Msgr Schnacky. My mother had a phrase that I can still remember. Count your blessings. When my brother and I were hoping for roast beef for supper and we were fed meatloaf or macaroni and cheese, it was always, count your blessings. Well, I count my blessings every time I come to church here or go to the community center. We should all consider St. Catherine's a part of our family, with the wonderful people that are here, our beautiful church and chapel, with our great choirs under such capable leadership, Sister Ruth, the staff, and last but by no means least, Father Jim, whom I remember from St. Helens Parish when we both had hair and it was a lot darker. Father Jim is a true blessing to us all. He has continued many of the great traditions at our St. Catherine's with his spiritual leadership, cheerful, helpful ways, good nature, and he continues to let us laugh in church. There are many ways he reminds me of our original pastor. All he needs is a dog. So thank you, Sister Alice Cooney, who was our pastoral assistant and Msgr's right-hand lady, for keeping St. Catherine's afloat during those many sad and stressful months. And thank you, Msgr Schnacky, for making St. Catherine's what it was, what it is today, and what I hope it always will be, a holy, warm, welcoming sanctuary where we can be with God and each other. We have these pictures of Msgr, and I hope everyone takes one home, because moms, if you put it in the kitchen, I guarantee you won't burn your souffle. Dad, if you put it on your workbench, I know you won't hit your thumbs. And kids, if you put it in your bedroom and tap it when you go to school in the morning, I know you'll be coming home with better grades. That is Msgr Schnacky. Thank you.